Chateau Heartiste Maxim is 77. If a man acts as if his life is full of willing women, then women will be more willing company. Again, you can fake this, and I like that Chateau, at least on a lot of these, he will let you know specifically the ones that are easier to fake, per se, for lack of a better word. You can act as if, and then over time, it will actually become the reality. You have to kind of present or make it appear that you have more women in your life than you actually do sometimes when you're starting out. But it's interesting that very quickly you'll begin to actually have a lot of women in your life. And it doesn't take a lot to keep you occupied. 3 or 4 women actively that you're seeing in a week. The sweet spot seems to be, even from my own experience and from the surveys that I've ran, is usually like 3 girls in a rotation seems to be the sweet spot. But if a man acts as if his life is full of willing women, there'll be more willing women in his life. And again, this is where, like with game, like with text, you vary your response times. You're not always available. You're not chatting with her all day. These are all extremely bad habits that really kill guys' game and attractiveness really quickly, and they don't even know it, and it's inadvertent. And it really, unfortunately, it upsets a lot of men that, they don't like thinking about this a whole lot. They'd rather think about, like, guys will think about their hobbies or their drinking habits or how to get, high again, far more than they'll think about sex or moving a girl from complete stranger to in your bed and naked and enthusiastically getting fucked by you. They'll spend more time on like radio controlled cars in their head. But this is one of those things that you can take just a little bit of time and you can invest it, even in just like having alpha text game, and get major returns and start banging more girls while you still pursue your drinking habit or your getting high schedule or your hobbies like disc golf or whatever it may be. But you can also have a lot of women in your life at the same time when you apply game, which is learn charisma. But for sometimes some guys just think it's too much trouble, and that's okay. I don't think they make it to my videos or to this part of Twitter or YouTube or our world, but sometimes they do. So even small amounts of effort will usually reap you very large dividends with game, because there's so few men that are actually charismatic and worth being around, and almost all are in our own little world because we're the only ones interested in this stuff. But even small things like varying your response time, not always being available, seeing her during the week, and she doesn't know where you're at on the weekends. You just always make yourself busy or unavailable. It's kind of like Coach Corey Wayne very early on. He suggests never to talk on the phone after 7 p.m. Literally just don't take calls after 7 or initiate calls after 7. They don't need to know where you're at. You can be at the gym. You could be out with another girl. You could be out with another 2 girls. You could be at work late. But all she knows is she doesn't know where you're at. And usually if you're out after 7, you're with her. And if you're out with her, if you're not with her, she suspects you might be with another girl. And that turns them on. Again, girls like to compete. They want to compete for the men that other women want to be around. And you can create a false sense of scarcity, in the beginning. And over time, it will become genuine because you'll have more girls in your life. And when you follow like our online dating handbook or speak to every attractive girl you see, very quickly your schedule will fill up with women that you're having sex with. It's absolutely, unless there's something completely missing, guaranteed that this works. I'm going to cover some questions today. I'm going to do my absolute best to make this transition because I'm trying to get better at some of the tech. But that is the essence of maxim number 77. If you act as if your life is full of women, you always appear busy. You always have something interesting. If she says, "Well, what have you been doing?" Just make it interesting. You can't be sitting at home. If you play video games, forget that. Tell her something else. Tell her you're writing a book. Anything except for Bitcoin and video games will be I'm trying to learn how to play guitar. I'm doing this. I helped a friend move. Anything except for the most boring activities that a man could engage in, and they're interesting to men, but for women they're not that interesting. But if you act as if your life is full of willing women, then there will be more women to be in your life. And like Baron Gaslight says, less is more when it comes to women. Less is more. Your attention is valuable. Again, and that's extremely important. That your attention has value is very important. And the less you can spread it around, and there's a sweet spot where you're giving her enough to keep her on the hook, but not so much that she's like, God, I'm so sick of it. But most men, and let me just convey this, so much of what we do is attractive because it's contrasted with what your average guy does, which is nothing, or they're terrible. It's like anti-game. It drives women away. We're going to take a chance here. Baked